This is everything that I want, hell, everything that we need in Spider-Man 4 for the MCU. Spider-Man is my favorite fictional character of all time, and I really just want to see his movies be peak. And I think I got some pretty good ideas for this fourth film. I mean, a slam dunk choice is we need Lord and Miller involved in the writing process somehow, some way. They just understand Spider-Man, and I trust them. And after the multiversal shenanigans in Spider-Man No Way Home, which I loved, they left Peter Parker in a perfect position, I didn't mean to do that, to mold him into the Spider-Man that we all know and love. He just lost pretty much everything and everyone he loves. Nobody knows him. He's just like me for real. He's literally me. And I really want this movie to be a deep character study on the Peter Parker character and what being Spider-Man truly means. I want them to Spider-Man 2 this bitch. Now, obviously not to the extent of Spider-Man 2 because, man, this man was in pain the whole movie. But definitely diving deeper into Spider-Man and the choices that we make. With all this great power comes all this great responsibility. And we always have a choice. We can always choose to do what's right. I think those are all important themes that we inherently need to have in every Spider-Man movie. And definitely reestablish him as that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I want to see a lot of scenes like this from Homecoming. I think that's what made Homecoming really special because it was really a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man the movie. Now, I do not want MJ or Ned to play huge roles in this movie at all. I wouldn't mind them being like side characters that he just checks up on because he knows and loves them. But I don't want them to undo No Way Home, at least not this early. Maybe Peter made a new friend in college named Harold. Oh yeah, this needs to be his suit. This needs to be a suit. This is a peak Spider-Man costume and have it set during winter just for aesthetic purposes. Give me fire swinging scenes in the snow. Need that. Now with all that known, this is how I want the movie to open. Very similar to Spider-Man PS4. We know he's using a police tracker on his phone to look for local crimes. I would love to open up with a scene of him fighting and stopping Shocker. And hopefully this time he has a cool costume. And have Shocker be a part of a crime family. More on that in a second. But during the fight with Shocker, he realizes he has other responsibilities like going to college. And in the end, he ends up getting an F on a test. But he always makes time to check up on May's grave, making her proud. I'd love it if it was a scene similar to this cutscene from Spider-Man Far From Home. And Shocker's working with the Manfredi crime family. And Peter's tight with the cops now. So maybe we get introduced to Yuri. I think I'd like that. Or even Jean DeWolf, if not both of them. And they could even find a way to adapt the death of Jean DeWolf storyline in this movie. Which, by the way, yes, I have read and I have a copy of. Essentially, I want this movie to be more boots on the ground, street level focus. Now, as for the main villain of the movie, I actually have a couple of ideas. And sure, on paper, you might say, damn, that's a lot of storyline / ideas. But I think you could actually make all of these work, similar to how Homecoming introduced a lot of different Spider-Man characters from the mythos. I think it's finally time to have Wilson Fisk be the main villain. And if he's the mayor of New York, all the better. Having Kingpin as the mayor and running crime under the table, perfect setup. But like I mentioned before, introduce these other crime families like the Manfredi, the Maggia, and why not Hammerhead. I think it would be dope if we introduced a power struggle between Tombstone. I'd personally love it if he was similar to the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. A struggle between Silvio Manfredi, Kingpin, Tombstone, give me all of that. And you just know the Prowler's going to be one of these villains, very similar to Into the Spider-Verse. So we can finally pay off Donald Glover as Aaron Davis is the Prowler. But I think it's finally time that the main villain is Michael Mando Scorpion. It's been long enough. And if you wanted to, you could squeeze in the J. Jonah Jameson storyline with Matt Gargan just to incorporate J.K. Simmons. Maybe Kingpin's looking for a hired hand to run experiments on, and J. Jonah Jameson happily helps fund that. And we finally get a proper MCU Scorpion. And with all this crime going around, you're going to need a really good lawyer. And I need an MCU Spidey and Daredevil team up ASAP. Now, I would just have this be a small part in the movie. I don't want a huge role for Daredevil. But him and Spidey going door to door, knocking on heads, trying to get answers in a detective-like movie, need that. And I really just want more detective-like elements in this movie. I want a scene of Spidey just beating the shit out of the Kingpin for information on probably Matt Gargan, who's gone crazy. And having that fight scene I mentioned earlier be the final fight. I've just always imagined a dope-ass bridge fight between Spider-Man and Scorpion. I need this now. Kingpin goes to jail for all of his criminal activities, opening up room for a mayor of New York City. You could even introduce Felicia Hardy. With her criminal background, she could play a love interest to Peter. And you could tie her origin to all these different crime families. And we learned that Miles Morales and the entire Morales family have been Peter's neighbors this whole time. And I would call it Spider-Man Homesick. I like the graphic, I made this, by the way. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, on paper, when you look at Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, it sounds like a lot, but it works. You just need the right people to pull it all together. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, like and follow for more.